Hi everyone, my name is Tuğba and I'm gonna answer Sefa's questions about the Duolingo, the language app. As you might all know, you've probably heard of it. So we'll start. I'm studying Spanish on Duolingo right now. It's been 354 days. It's not a short amount of time, but also it's not long. And so far, why did I start studying Spanish? Because I like to learn a third language. Besides my, Turkish, my native language, and English is my second language, and the third language, I want to study Spanish because I wanted to speak Spanish. I already speak English, as you can hear. So I wanted to speak Spanish, and this is for my career, if I want to do something, with it. So that's the main reason why I want to speak Spanish. And I also love the sound of Spanish. That was also my main goal when I learned English in the first place, when I started, in the 6th grade. I really liked how English sounded and I wanted to learn it. So I think I have the same reasons now to learn Spanish. I study Spanish daily, as you know. There's, you get a streak. So it gives you a purpose, you're like, oh, I shouldn't lose my streak, I've done this much, I shouldn't lose it. So it keeps you on your toes. But also, this is how I've been feeling for the last month, maybe. It's I do the activities usually at night because during the day, I don't really think about it. At night, Duolingo sends you a, notification, keep up your streak, don't lose it. And then you do it. But you spend, 5 minutes. And then, it's like a task. It's check the box and you're done. So that gets a little bit repetitive, and sometimes you're okay, now I have to do this. It might get repetitive and not really exciting, honestly. So that's maybe, but I'll talk about that more. So I study Spanish on Duolingo only, and I don't use any other apps right now. I had a book, but I didn't start, using that. I'm just relying on Duolingo because it's, easy. It's on your phone. It's fun, the interface, it's all fun. But I don't use anything else. It's just Duolingo right now. What do I like in the app? I like the characters. Sometimes they're annoying, but still fun. It's like a cartoon, it's not all that serious, that's fun. Their streak is I think a very big motivator, although it might get old, but still a motivator. It kept me there for 354 days till now. I like the hints, for example, when you click on the word you don't know, it always shows the, the meaning of the word, so you're not stuck. Otherwise, you don't have any other help. So hint is good. I don't think there's anything other than that I like. And also, one more thing maybe, you can listen to the questions, whatever it is, the app reads it to you. So you also do the listening activity. You read and then you listen and then answer, you type it. So that's a good feature, honestly. What should they improve in the app? I mean, this is the whole, the base of Duolingo, but I don't know if they can change it. I think it relies too much on translation, honestly. That's one of the things. You always translate, unfortunately. But I think that's the name of the app that shows it's a Duolingo. So there's always translation, I study Spanish over English, for example. So the translation are between Spanish and English. I feel like that's a drawback because you rely on it too much, especially when you want to speak. It's not easy. It doesn't, and also you need to pay to be able to practice speaking with the AI, they have an AI feature in it, but you have to pay for it. In the free app, free version, you can't practice with a person or whatever AI. So that's a drawback, translation, but it's how the app works. It's how they built it, I think. So, but that's not always good, Something they could add, there are stories, but stories are always in the form of a dialogue, which is amazing. Because that's the nature of the language also. It's very natural, always, when we talk, it's always a dialogue, right? It's never a monologue, unless you speak to yourself, you talk to yourself, But it's a conversation, right? So that's amazing. I wish they had also, a story and the simple comprehension questions. Because, because they claim, like, this is, like the universities, like if you study the language in a university, as a university class, like Duolingo is almost like that. They claim this in their app. But, like, I've never seen like a paragraph and then, like simple questions. It's usually, like really small, like maybe like 3 lines and then, like there's a question. But it's not really comprehension. So you don't get to use the vocabulary as much, like, and you don't see other topics much. Their units have like I'm in Traveler, for example. This is the unit 4th, I believe. The Traveler, it's all about traveling and blah blah and stuff. Sometimes I question, like, do I need to know this much, like about traveling, like I think, like it could go faster. Honestly, it could go faster than that. And if there was also, like comprehension, like paragraphs, reading paragraphs, I would love that. But they don't have it now, and they don't have it in the paid version also. I checked it. So that's a drawback to me. I don't think Duolingo is enough alone to learn a language because, like I said, it doesn't, it doesn't cover everything, all those skills, like, yes, there's, like speaking but it's not speaking, like it gives you the, like sentence and then you repeat it. That's a repeating exercise. That's not speaking. You don't generate, you don't form sentences. You just repeat what the app gives you. So reading comprehension is missing. So I don't think you can, as a, like former English language learner and a teacher, like I don't think you can do it just by, reading sentences. You need reading comprehension, you need paragraphs. Like those are, like inputs, that you need to be exposed to. So they lack this. So I don't think it's enough. On your own, of course, you can like do things for that, like in your own time, like you can read. But in the app, that doesn't exist. So, and it's not enough. It can give you a basic understanding of the language. Like if you're watching a TV show, in my case in Spanish, for example, I catch words, I understand more, but it's not enough yet, so. I used a language app called Rosetta Stone, which I loved. Why? Because Rosetta Stone it treats language learning as like how you learn your mother tongue, your native language. Like there is no translation, for example. There's all pictures, there's like comparisons, like it shows you, it gives you pictures and you pick it. And then it's all about guessing and finding out. It's discovering on your own as a learner. So that helps you a lot, honestly, because you don't switch between, like the, like your mother tongue or like the, like the target language. You just focus on the target language. There's nothing else. And it helps a lot. It's really loaded. But it doesn't confuse you. Like it's not scary. You think it's scary, but it's not. And they have real reading comprehension. But I also use this subscription. I had the full access to Rosetta Stone. So I really made, like use of like the reading passages, like the stories in it. And the cool thing is you can download units and you don't have to be online. You don't have to have data to use it. If you're traveling to another country, for example, you can't use it, right? You don't have internet. So like you lose your streak on Duolingo. Like there's streak freeze, but also you need to pay for that with your, like gems like you earned while you're studying the language. But in Rosetta Stone, you can download the units. That's very cool. So like wherever you go, it's on your phone. You practice, There's no streak also. There's no, like it's more serious, I think, Duolingo is more fun, but Rosetta Stone is more serious and you can actually learn the language on your own. Like just relying on Rosetta Stone, you could make a really, really big difference in your language learning. I would love to, like recommend people who are learning a language or who want to learn a language. Like it's very cliche, but it's immersion. Like, but keep it fun also, like you don't have to always, again, like don't rely on translation too much. Like an app like these, Duolingo, Rosetta Stone, they could be a stepping stone and like it will work very much. It would give you an idea about how the language works, like basically, like at a basic level. I would recommend reading books, like There are stages, you know, like you can find them online. There are apps for that also, only for reading comprehension. Reading is important because it's input, you know. There's no input, that means there's no output, you know. Like, yes, we listen, but we can't speak. Why? We don't listen enough, probably. And, you know, like, I can read, but I can't write. Why? Because you're not reading enough. Because I always show this to my students, you know, like when I was teaching in the past. Like, think about a printer, right? Like, you give the printer an input, and then you get the output, right? If you don't send the document to the printer, what are you gonna get? Nothing, you know? Because that's how it works. It's like this, our brain also works the same way. You need to give something. You need to fill it up so that it can start, you know, like producing in forms of, you know, speaking and also writing. But keep it fun. Again, it doesn't have to be boring, especially with our smartphones. You know, there are tons of apps that, you know, you can use to, you know, like, I mean, if we're talking very simple things like flashcards, I don't know, like I mentioned a lot, you know, like reading comprehension, you know, like you can find those stories and stuff. Like, it's really, really easy. There are people, you know, like on it also you can make friends, you can follow friends, you know, you're not alone also, you know, like the whole burden of learning a language, it doesn't have to be like that, you know, you can have it more fun, in a fun way. So those would be my recommendations. I will say something in Spanish. Let's see if I can do it a little bit. Hola, estoy Tuğba, or me llamo Tuğba. Yo vivo en Turquía. Gracias para me escuchar.